You're given this function, f of x equals radical x plus 4, and we want to sketch the graph of the inverse function. Okay, now notice we don't even know the equation of the inverse function, okay? But we should know a couple properties about the inverse, okay, and how the graphs are related, okay? So first of all, let's make a table, right? So here's x, and here's f of x, which is radical x plus 4, okay? So if we plug in let's say -4 for x, right? We can plug that in because we get -4 plus 4, which is 0. Or we can plug in a number like -3, right? -3 plus 4 is 1, radical 1 is 1. Okay? And we can plug in a number like 0 here, right? 0 plus 4 is 4, and then radical 4 is 2. Right? So, I mean, we can just plug in these 3 points here, right? And we can certainly sketch this graph, okay? And at this point, we should know what the graph of the radical function is, right? This is the graph of the radical function that is shifted to the left 4 units. So I'll go ahead and draw this guy in blue, right? So we got -4, 0, -3, 1, 0, 2, and obviously we can keep sketching a couple more points here, but we're going to get this square root graph. Okay. But what is the inverse, or what should the inverse look like, right? Remember, this is the graph of radical x plus 4. Okay? And these are the points, right? -4 comma 0, -3 comma 1, and 0 comma 2. But wait, let's think about this very carefully, right? For the inverse function, right, the x and y values should be swapped, right? So for example, what does that mean? It means that f inverse of 0 should equal 4. Right? It means f inverse of 1 should equal -3. That should be a -4, right? Sorry. So f inverse of 1 should equal -3, and f inverse of 2 should equal 0. So what does that mean? It means that the point should be 0 comma -4 for the inverse, right? 1 comma -3, and 2 comma 0. So what does the graph of the inverse function look like? It'll look a little something like this. So what is the important property to remember here, right? The x and y values are swapped. Okay? So actually, the graph of a function and its inverse, right, are reflections across the line y equals x here. Okay, so for example, this is the graph of f of x, okay, in blue, and this is going to be the graph of f inverse of x. Okay, notice we drew this without even knowing the equation, right? So we can use the graph of the original function. If we can get 3 or 4 or 5 points, we can plot those, right? And then we can swap the x and y values to get the graph of the inverse.